1970, we sure we did the forefront. Knowledge for selfish, for sure we did the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Work hard and we shine, commitment, dedication. Neurosurgery, comedy, music, Nollywood. SOTK, Dr. Call, MC Casino. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN, great UNIBEN.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the UNIBEN Alumni Series. As you know, this is a show where we celebrate alumni of the University of Benin. And on today's episode, we have a distinguished lady with us. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Impact Admission, a leading travel agency in Nigeria. She is Khatumi Babatunde. Khatumi holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Sociology and Anthropology from the Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Benin. Thank you, Khatumi, for joining us today. We'll go straight into it, Khatumi. I understand that you had your secondary education, some part in Rivers State, and you concluded in Lagos, and you chose the University of Benin for your tertiary institution. What motivated, what influenced that? Because to my understanding as well, you were a resident of Lagos at that point. So why did you choose to come to University of Benin?
So the Nigerian system, you naturally like to go to school where you're from. So Nigeria is a country where your state of origin matters a lot. We feel like it will give you added advantage if you pick your state of origin when you're writing the JAMB exam that's expected of everybody at secondary school level to write. So when I was writing my JAMB, my first choice was University of Benin, because I'm from Edo State, I'm from Igara, and then second choice, University of Lagos.
Okay, and you went on to study sociology and anthropology. Was that your intended course, or UNIBEN gave to you, as many do say?
So when I was in secondary school, I was very good in maths. I don't know what has happened now, but I really wanted to do economics and statistics. So I applied for economics and statistics, and UNIBEN was generous enough to give me human kinetics. And I cried my eyes out. I'm like, I can't do this. They said, oh, you'll be great at PHE, because I used to run in school then. So they were kind of encouraging me, oh, you're going to be great. I said, no way. I had to walk around, like that was the first time I knew the campus very well, because I would walk from UBTH to go and meet a professor there, walk back to admissions office, exams and records. I walked around UNIBEN on foot just to make sure, I get something but human kinetics. And I wanted to still be in social sciences. So I got sociology and anthropology, and I don't regret it one bit.
Okay. Let's talk about sociology and anthropology. What skills or knowledge from sociology, from your degree, do you find most useful in your current role as a travel agent today?
Okay, so I think his name is Mr. Obaru. I think he taught us something about something in criminology, and he taught us something around labeling. So when you see somebody, you already think this person is a deviant. In my job today, someone can walk into my office, the person can be a billionaire, but the person is wearing bathroom slippers, and you're just like, would this person be able to afford your service? But when you see their bank statement, you're like, oh my God. So from studying sociology, we already know that people are not what they seem to be. You can actually have conversations with people. It gives you a little bit of psychotherapy knowledge, right? How to talk to people, how to counsel people, how to know where they want to be, how to just get to the in-depth of their problem at that time. So yeah.
Okay. Still on sociology, of course, the influencers on you. How your background in sociology influenced your approach to entrepreneurship today?
I won't really take my sociology and anthropology as a huge influence over me being an entrepreneur today. I will take it to ISEC. So the organization I joined while I was in school, I would say it's really encouraged me to be independent, to always strive for excellence, to be able to forge a path for myself, regardless of where I find myself. And then sociology playing a role in my career today is just that when you have passed through professors like Opokunu, Dr. Okonufwa, there are just certain things that you pick from them, like their discipline, their commitment to work, their outstanding performance at all times. You just say, okay, these people you really, and then Professor Omo Ibo, God, Father. So you always, you know that at some point, even in your career, you might need to get back to them for reference or ask them for something. You want to still be outstanding. You don't want to go to them and they'll be like, what are you doing now? You don't know what you're doing and you are just all over the place. You still want to give them top-notch performance at all times.
Okay. You mentioned ISEC, the organization you joined while as a student of UNIBEN. Looking back at your time in UNIBEN, what are those your fond memories you have about the institution that you think the experience has shaped your future today?
So
We want to hear. Don't hold back.
So aside you being the host of the show, you're also my personal friend, and you know how much this organization means to me. At least you used to say that this is my fraternity. This is the course that I chose to join while I was in school. I think ISEC is something that every young person that's in a university that currently has the organization in it should be part of. Yes, while you're in school, you can only be a member of the organization while you're in school. So for you to keep being a member, you need to have good grades in school. Even if we traveled all over the place, like we traveled for conferences, we traveled for workshops, we traveled for leadership seminars. One thing that was still constant was that we needed to have good grades in school. Like you cannot be an ISECer and then have bad grades. So being an ISECer just ensured that I was able to study twice as hard so that I could graduate when I needed to graduate, and it will not count against me within the organization.
Okay, so talking about ISEC, I understand you guys travel a lot then as students. How was the funding like? How were you guys able to fund those trips?
Okay, so my time in ISEC, so I spent a total of 3 years in ISEC and I took different roles. Our travels depend on the position that you hold within the organization. So when you're just an ordinary member, nothing is really expected of you. Yes, it's nice to attend all those conferences, but nothing is really expected of you. But when you move through the hierarchy of being a VP for a selected role, or then you're the president, then you're expected to attend a lot of conferences. So you either fund it through personal funding or we get sponsors to fund us. So in the past, we've gotten private institution to fund the organization, but mostly your personal funds. And this is not even speaking from a place of privilege. You could also get somebody that is really invested in you within the organization that have graduated years ago and they want to just spend towards you. And how much was transport then? If you're going to Port Harcourt, 3,000 naira, 2,000 naira, you're already in PH, right? So it was not.
But we were trips outside the country. Within
Yes.
Africa, yeah.
So yes, so while I was in ISEC, I did all of that. I went to Liberia, I went to Ghana, I went to all those places. Yes, I did a lot of road trips. I did they call it border to border. So you don't have a lot of money to go and enter the likes of cross country or ABC Express or ABC Transport. You take your car from Lagos to Benin Republic, you take another car from Benin Republic to Togo, like that, because you're trying to save costs and you're trying to make the most of your experience. So when you're doing that trip as a UNIBEN student, a part of you, you're saying to yourself that if all those clubs boys, they run them. You say if you run now. So you have that kind of mind, you borrow the mind and do what you have to do for the experience that you want to get. So I think that's something that UNIBEN like instilled in me. Let's just do it. Like there are people that are smaller than you, they haven't doing bigger things. So just do it.
Yeah, this let's do it. Actually, obviously that's one of the things UNIBEN taught you. Are there other things that you can point to and said, this is what I learned from the institution. This is what UNIBEN gave to me outside my certification?
I think another thing I appreciate UNIBEN for is the fact that the class gap is almost non-existent. You can be in the same class with a senator's child. It's still the same school fees you guys are paying. There's nothing fantastic about your presence. It's still the same, the way you will hustle and go and read or overnight, TDB, till they break. That's the same way that person is also pursuing their grades. As much as, yes, there are some courses that maybe you can, find your way around it. There are still some lecturers that don't care what your surname is. They don't even know the name. All they know is your math number, and there's nothing unique about you. So I think that's one thing that I really love UNIBEN for. You don't experience that level of segregation among your peers. And then another thing is you are able to see life outside of your comfort zone. So if I had to live in Lagos where my parents were residing at the time, and then I was going to Unilag, I would have come back home chilling, but I experienced some form of lack. I experienced some form of you need to work with a budget, you need to save. If you are broke, you are broke. That kind of experience. So yeah, I think
Oh,
those are the things I remember top of my head now.
okay. Let's talk about the industry you are in, the travel industry. What trends or changes have you observed in the industry in Nigeria, especially in recent times? This Jackpa, most importantly.
Okay, what I've noticed in recent time is that a lot of people want to travel, with their families. People don't want to go alone, and people are not looking to billionaires moving abroad. They just want the basics. So when people come to me and say, oh, they want to travel, and then we go through the counseling part of it, you realize that a lot of people are not going because they want to have 100 million and come back to Nigeria and show. They're thinking of things like quality of education for the children, quality of healthcare, security, and they also want to be able to, feel good about themselves. There's something about your self-esteem when you're earning and you don't have to rely on, family members. You can take care of your bills yourself, not that you're looking forward to going to beg somebody again. Another trend I see is that a lot of Nigerians are now moving towards non-traditional countries. So before, people will come to you and say they want to go to US, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. But with the constant changes in immigration policy within those countries, people are beginning to look into Europe. So I have people going to Lithuania, I have people going to Luxembourg, I have people that want to go to Malta because they have lower tuition, is more affordable. Even with the language barrier, they see that, okay, these countries, and they don't really care about the language difference. Even if you need to submit IELTS, courses are still taught in English. But what is most important to everybody that comes into my office is, can I go with my family? Like for the ones that are married, very important.
Okay. You talked about the changes in immigration policies and all that, especially from the very advanced nations. How do you stay up to date with the latest development and technologies in the industry?
Okay, so the good thing is while you're in this industry, you need to have key partners. As much as we see ourselves as travel consultants, we don't work alone. So we have a lot of third-party interactions. We have direct partnership with schools. So when there's a new policy, the school will reach out to us and say, this is what is going to happen to your international students. These are the kind of students that we can recruit now. So I'll use Canada as an example. Canada brought out a policy that not everybody will be eligible for postgraduate work permits. They also brought out a policy that if you're doing postgraduate certificate and postgraduate diploma, for certain courses, you will not be allowed to go with your dependents, right? You have to go alone as a student. Now, schools reached out and say, yes, we understand that these policies have been passed and this is how it's going to affect students. However, we still have some programs that are postgraduate diploma and postgraduate certificate that still qualify for the postgraduate work permit. So it's for you to find somebody that have all this information and are willing to share with you. We also have groups that we discuss all of all these things. Schools send out their memos, we have third-party agencies, and then we have groups. And then you as an individual, you need to put your eyes on the news and hear all the latest stuff happening around the travel market.
Okay. There's this new one, birth tourism, that is, yes, on the increase now. Why do you think it's on the increase? Why do you think people are more interested? People want to go give birth outside the shores of Nigeria, and at times, not even in US or in the UK or Canada, for example, those that offer citizenship by birth. But there are other countries in South America and all that they want to go. Why do they want to do that?
So, so birth tourism is a service that my organization offer currently at the moment. I will tell you for free that having given birth in United States and in Mexico, I can tell you that the best thing an individual can do for themselves in Nigeria currently or in Africa is to have their baby outside the shores. The reason people are tilting to all those countries that are not popular, which I'll mention afterwards, is because most of this country give the parents permanent residency and other children permanent residency as well. So I will use Mexico as an example because I had my baby in Mexico, and I will say what all that experience was about. Mexico, they speak Spanish, so people will say they are not English speaking. Why should I have my baby? Why should I have my baby in a place that is not English speaking? How am I going to have help, right? But the quality of healthcare in Mexico, when I went there, saw European footballers in the same hospital as I was, and they say they come there every year to get their treatment to make sure that their health and everything checks out. Now, as a parent that don't have a lot of money to take their whole family abroad through the school route, you can just have your baby in Brazil or in Mexico and get permanent residency for yourself. If you stay in Mexico for 18 months, you get the passport. Mexico passport takes you to 153 countries. American passport takes you to 160, but you have to wait till your child is 18. Brazil passport takes you to 160 countries. You don't have to wait. In fact, in Brazil, you can give birth for free. If you give birth in the government hospital, you can give birth for free. In Barbados, all you need to do is a transit visa through the UK or through France, and you get to Barbados and have your baby. Unfortunately, Barbados doesn't give the parents anything, but for people that have run out of time, so let's say you're not able to meet up Mexico visa, you're not able to meet up Brazil visa because you have to keep the passport at the embassy for about 90 days, you can still go to Barbados to have your baby. So all those options are things that I think people are looking for. Okay, I can't afford to, and people have lives in Nigeria. Like for me, I've built my business in Nigeria. I don't see myself leaving Nigeria anytime soon. So why shouldn't I take the option that will give me residency so that I am not in a rush to jackpot?
Okay. Lastly, we're coming to the end of the interview. What are some of the most significant challenges you have faced in your career, and how have you overcome them?
Okay, so within the travel space, there are a lot of challenges. So I will start with exchange rates. So you have a conversation with somebody. In fact, let's use the UK, that is the easiest. At least UK is the only embassy that asks for bank statement for the shortest period of time that I know. So UK will ask you to give them a bank statement of 28 days. Now you have a client that is ready to go to school. What is expected of them is £9,207. They have that exact money in their accounts, and they wake up on the 28th day, which is the deadline to submit so that they can get their cards. And UK government will say, not even UK government, Nigerian exchange rates, based off of what is in the person's account, will bump up to, let's say, as of today, it is £1 to £1, right? So they have exactly £9,207. Now, exchange rates in Nigeria will go as high as £1 to 200 naira. Now, that person needs to look for times 20 of that money in their account. That's very unfair. Or times 200, sorry. That's very unfair. Where do they want to start from? So you see students differing. Now they will differ, and something else will come up. That's when we get the policy of you can no longer come with dependents. And they wonder, why did I start this in the first place? So for me, I always tell my clients that we need to always give room for that increment. When that increment come up, because most times you add the remainder of the tuition to the proof of funds. I just tell them, if you can afford to pay the remaining tuition that is outstanding, just pay the remaining tuition that is outstanding. If you're able to run your proof of funds in dollars, run your proof of funds in dollars. If you don't have money, because a lot of people do blockchain, they do crypto and all those. So before you liquidate your funds, time might run out. So I just tell them, prepare on time, know the country you're going to and what is expected. So US needs 6 months, Canada needs from 4 months, all those things. Australia needs like 6 months. Be ready to give them. Mexico needs 3 months. Be ready to give them all these bank statements. I think bank statements is the most crucial thing. So for me, exchange rate is a killer in this business. And then government policies that we cannot control. So when you're doing your SWOT analysis as an agency, you put your threats in your business. Government policy, we have no control over it. If you see our memorandum of understanding with our partners, it's always there. It's always a clause. It's always a disclaimer. If the government introduces something that we have no control over, we have no control over it. And then we try to give our clients variety. Right. So if you come to my office and say you want to go and school in Canada, I'm already asking you, give me 2 other countries as your, the way you write JAMB and you do first choice, second choice. I'm already asking what's your first choice, what's your second choice. Let's start looking into those things because I don't want you to get disappointed. I think those are the challenges that I can think about. And then the last one. Because of the way the industry is, everybody can read and write. I always tell my staff that everybody can read and write. What makes you different from everybody is you are selling based off of your experience. So when people come into my office and ask me things like total package, I am confused because it is strange to me. There's nothing like total package. Even the embassy that is telling you come and apply for a visa doesn't tell you that the total package of this visa will be. So that's the terminologies that have come to stay within the industry is also a big problem. And when you tell somebody that you don't understand what total package means, they feel like you're joking. They think you're not serious. But that's just the truth. So if I tell you total package is 6 million and you give me 6 million and you don't end up troubling, I will not return that 6 million to you. And then you boldly give me the name scam and you flag it all around the place. So those things are quite important within the industry, but what can we do?
Thank you very much. It has been wonderful speaking with you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been speaking with Khatumi Babatunde. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Impact Admission, a leading travel agency in Nigeria. Continue to subscribe to our channel. We'll bring you more exclusive interviews of the UNIBEN alumni series. Thank you. Bye for now.
1970, we sure we did the forefront. Knowledge for selfish, for sure we did the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law.